A very good morning to one and all gathered here today. It is with immense pleasure that I welcome you all to day 5 of the 7-day Faculty Development Program on Research, Innovation and Industry Connect, Empowering Excellence in Education, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC of Jyoti Nivas College Autonomous. We are honored to be in the presence of distinguished guests and esteemed members of our academic community. Let us extend a heartfelt welcome to Professor Dr. N. Jayashankaran, former Vice Chancellor, Kanchi University, Advisor, IFIM and VIT University. Sister Nalini Cruz, Education Secretary of Sisters of St. Joseph of Tarbes Institutions and Manager of Jyoti Nivas Institutions. Dr. Sister Mary Louisa S., Principal, Sister Sajita Jose, Administrator, Dr. Carol Stanley Zemler, IQAC Coordinator, and Ms. Neeta Jorfin, Controller of Examinations. We also warmly welcome our Chief Coordinators, Deans, Heads of Departments, and all the faculty members who have joined us both in person and virtually. Your participation is what fuels the success of this initiative. Yesterday's session was nothing short of enlightening. Day 4 commenced on a solemn note with a minute's silence in memory of the innocent lives lost in Kashmir. Following this, we had the privilege of hosting Ms. Anuradha Adiga, who conducted a highly insightful session entitled Empowering Education with AI, Applications in Teaching, Research and Publications. With over 23 years of expertise in training corporate professionals and engineers, she illuminated the growing intersection between artificial intelligence and education. Ms. Adiga brilliantly demystified complex AI concepts like natural language processing, machine learning, and robotics, making them accessible to a lay audience. She also introduced us to a host of AI tools such as ChatGPT, ChatPDF, Notebook LM, and Claude, tools that are revolutionizing classrooms and research spaces alike. She emphasized that while these technologies offer immense potential, they must be used responsibly. Her key takeaway: technical tools are most effective when guided by a deep subject expertise. The session culminated in a stimulating Q&A segment where she reiterated the irreplaceable value of human learning and insight in an age of growing technological reliance. And now, as we step into day 5 of this enriching journey, it is my privilege to welcome you all to another promising day of knowledge sharing and academic growth. Today, we are deeply honored to host a distinguished luminary in the world of academia, Dr. N. Jayashankaran, an eminent professor of management, widely regarded as one of India's top 5 professors of management, as recognized by Business Standard. Dr. Jayashankaran is a true institution builder. Under his visionary leadership, the Bharathidasan Institute of Management rose to prominence as a leading academic institution. His mentorship has shaped the careers of numerous individuals who now serve as diplomats, corporate leaders, and renowned academicians. His illustrious career spans roles such as head of 3 departments, mathematics, statistics, and computer science at the esteemed St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, academic advisor at Narsi Monchi University, Mumbai, helping expand its campuses and secure prestigious AMBA UK and AACSB accreditations. As a very senior assessor in NAC, he has assessed and accredited many well-known universities in India, including University of Mumbai, University of Pune, University of Jammu, Symbiosis, D.Y. Patil, Pune, Rajgiri Vidyapeeth, Kochi, apart from well-known autonomous and affiliated academic institutions. He has done academic and administrative audit of Madurai Kamraj University, a university with potential for excellence, NM University, Mumbai, and Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, Pune. He is also a resource person for training vice chancellors and senior directors in the NAC assessment and accreditation process under SSR's interactive meeting AIM. During the last 4 to 5 years, he has very successfully mentored well-known large universities and autonomous colleges all over the country to enhance their quality processes and secure the highest grade with impressive scores. Professor Jayashankaran is a founder and secretary of the Ramanujan Mathematical Society and chairman of the IIM selection panel. He is the former Executive Council member of Association of Indian Management Schools, Central Council member of Operations Research Society of India, Calcutta, member of the committee constituted by AICTE to form norms and standards for management education, member high-level committee on vocational education constituted by Government of Tamil Nadu, a member of the examination board of the prestigious Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, just to name a few. He is an advocate for Indian ethos and values in management, championing its inclusion in university curricula. A passionate educator at heart, Dr. Jayashankaran brings unmatched energy and clarity to his teaching. His years of expertise include mathematics, statistics, Indian ethos, and organizational behavior. His powerful oratory, coupled with his love for teaching, makes him a true beacon of inspiration for students and faculty alike. Professor Jayashankaran, we extend a heartfelt welcome to you. Please accept a small token of our appreciation. We are indeed privileged to have Dr. Jayashankaran with us today, and we look forward to a session on accreditation and assessment for institutional growth and excellence. Please put your hands together for Professor Jayashankaran.
Most respected principal of this spirit in children government system, education secretary, administrator, ITC coordinator, and ITC members, distinguished faculty members, heads of the department, deans and directors, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely delighted, overjoyed, and elated to be part of this FDP organized by Jyoti Nivas College for the benefit of the faculty members. To share inspiration on the part of top management to organize this 5 day, 7 day workshop, 7 day workshop for the faculty development. Regularly organized, I think every year you are organizing this. This is very, very important. This is one single step towards moving the institutional growth and excellence. Are you able to hear me? Okay. Before we go to the main topic, which is assessment and accreditation for the institutional growth and excellence, I would like to say a few. What we don't want, somebody has to control. Some technical person has to control the mind. This is disturbing my thought process. No problem. Not the volume. Probably some of you can come to the earlier. See, there are so many chairs, which are vacant. I can understand student occupying the back benches, not the faculty. Why are you occupying back benches? It conveys a different connotation for me. You need nothing. Okay. Student fans here. I see fans everywhere. Okay. This is creating trouble for me. I don't want any interference from the mind. Okay, can we start?
Yes.
Okay. Was trained in public speaking by Reverend Father Matthias at St. Joe's College. He always used to tell me for a good speaker, 3 A's are important: auditorium, audience, and acoustics. If the acoustics is bad, speaker cannot do his best. But there is always a disturbance from there. Sometimes, I get an echo from the horn. It's also too much of open space with the. I don't know whether you are able to hear me when you are sitting in the last benches. Otherwise, the entire speech is lost. So auditorium has to be good, audience will have to be good. Hopefully, audience will be best in this interaction. Number 6, input. I had the privilege of interacting with all the faculty, 200 faculty at Christ University. You go there and then see their acoustics and their Sony system. It's important in Japan, one of the best I have seen in the country, right? So when you are looking for quality, you look for these small little things also, right? That's the solution. Anyway, they are sitting on a large purpose one, say, collection is great. Yeah, coming to the topic, before I come to the main theme of my today's discussion, accreditation, assessment for institutional growth and excellence, I'd like to say a few words about the teachers, importance of teachers, why faculty development is important in any academic institution. In at least professors of English must be familiar with the name John Ruskin. He is one of the great thinkers of the 19th century. His prose will look like poetry. Sesame and Lilies is one of the work that he has done. Unto the Last is again another fundamental essay which talks about the 5 noble professions in any civilized society. He lists 5 professions which are considered as a noble profession. First one, he mentioned that of a soldier is fighting in the borders of India, trying to face the terrorists, trying to face the enemies. He is willing to make the supreme sacrifice of losing his life with a view to give protection to all the civilians, you and I, in the society. So he considers the soldier's profession as the noble profession. He then considers the profession of the preacher, uh, and preacher who is working in a temple, mosque, or a church, who maintain the moral health of the society, or telling the civilians as to what should be done, what should not be done. They maintain the moral health of the society. Third profession that he mentioned is that of a teacher who maintain the intellectual health of the society. You and I maintain the intellectual health of the society. What do we do? Whatever knowledge has been created before us, with great difficulty we assimilate and then transmit this knowledge to the next generation. So we are maintaining the intellectual health of the society. Fourth profession that he considers is that of a doctor who maintain the physical health of the society. When you fall sick, you go to a doctor, right? They maintain the physical health of the entire society. Fifth profession that he mentioned is that of a judge, who in his previous avatar was a lawyer, is the fifth profession, which is a noble profession because they maintain equity and justice in the society. Whenever you are aggrieved, you go to the court to get justice. They maintain the equity and justice in the entire society. So there are 5 professions which are considered as noble professions. First, soldier, then a preacher, third one is a teacher, fourth one is a doctor, fifth one is a judge, who in his previous avatar was a lawyer. Then he raises a very interesting question of all these 5 professions, which is the noblest of the noble profession. Then John Ruskin says, without any fear of contradiction, I will say, the teacher's profession is the noblest of the noble profession. For the simple reason, if we want to develop a soldier, there is an Indian military academy, there's a teacher soldier who trains a person to become a soldier. There's a teacher preacher who trains a person to become a preacher. I know, Society of Jesus, they need to undergo 14 years of training. I was in St. Joseph's, they belong to Society of Jesus. The training period is 14 years. Similarly, other denominations also will have similar training done for their priests. Again, if you want to become a teacher, There's a teacher, he trains to become a teacher, do a B.Ed, M.Ed, or get specialized training to become a masterful teacher. So even if you want to become a teacher, there's a teacher who trains you to become a teacher. Even if you are becoming a doctor in a medical college, there's a teacher doctor who trains you to become a doctor. If you are a judge, your previous avatar were a lawyer, in a law college, there was a teacher lawyer who trained to become a lawyer. Therefore, the noblest of the noble profession is that of a teacher because you produce all remaining noble professions. We belong to that noblest of the noble profession. Therefore, we need to pat ourselves on the back that by God's grace, we are born and working as a teacher. This is not given to everybody in the society. We are enjoying that privilege. Not only enjoying that privilege, we are continuously improving ourselves in terms of our domain knowledge, in terms of our pedagogical competence. We continue to improve ourselves. That's why our profession is the noblest of the noble profession. I'm very happy that Jyoti Nivas College is constantly providing this training every year for a week to improve the domain capability and also the pedagogical capability of the teachers who are working in this institution. Warm appreciation to the top management and the IPAC. Now we will come to the main topic, namely accreditation assessment to, improve the growth and the excellence in academic education. Before again I touch upon this, let us try to understand what is the role responsibility of an academic institution. I will refer 2-3 references. If you have not read, you must read these works, right? First one, all of you must be familiar, the idea of an university by the famous Cardinal Henry John Newman. How many of you have heard this name and the book? The idea of an university by Cardinal Henry John Newman. How many of you have heard? Either the name of the author or the name of the book? None. I read this book when I was a BSc first year student. In St. Joseph's, in first year, I think better leave it in peace. I think it keeps on meddling with the system. There's a problem. If it is right, leave it in peace. You come out, don't disturb your system. So, in St. Joseph's, we used to have care of the clever. Right? Out of 4,000 students, they will select 40 students. I don't know how they select. Now we are talking about slow learners, average learners, advanced learners. 70 years ago in St. Joseph's, we used to have care of the clever and those weak students who require assistance in the language. Most of us will be from vernacular medium. I studied in Tamil medium for 11 years. But when I joined St. Joseph's, I didn't understand what was going on in the college because everybody was talking in English. They collected 10 rupees, morning 9 to 10. English professors will come and teach, evening 4:30 to 5:30. In 3 months, we were able to pick up the confidence and we were able to speak fluently. Right? We are slow learners for 3 weeks. After that, we became advanced learners. In joined first year of DC Maths, I was an advanced learner. Not only advanced learner, I was part of the care of the clever. They will select 40 students out of 4,000 students. They give specialized training and for the principal will be in charge of all these 40. In retrospect, when I see the performance of all these 40 people, they've all risen to very high level. At that time, I never realized I'll become a vice chancellor. Reverend Father Xavier Alphonse, he became the principal of Loyola College, member of UGC. Alex, another colleague of mine, became the DGP of police. All those 40, in retrospect, I find they were given specialized training by the Jesuit fathers. We also rose in life to very high levels of performance in this society, right? As we were part of this care of the clever, actually, Reverend Father Lawrence Sundaram and Reverend Father Sekura gave me this book, Idea of University by John Henry von Neumann. I recommend all of you to read this book. If you are an academician, you should read this book. He is one of the founders of Oxford University, and this was written by Cardinal 250 years before. almost at the time of the establishment of Oxford University. And the, the basic tenets of Oxford University in those days, only men can join Oxford University. Women were not allowed. Just like St. Joseph's teaching. It was like a seminary when I was a student from 61 to 64. No women will be allowed inside the campus. You have never seen a woman inside the campus. Now the story is different. At my time, it's not allowed, right? Oxford also, no women will be allowed inside the Oxford University. Only men will be allowed. Number two, only Christians will be allowed inside the campus. And again, you must be a believer of the 36 principles of the Anglican Church. That means you must be a Protestant. If you're a Catholic, you have no seat for you. Today we are talking about tolerance. At that time when Oxford was established, these three were the basic eligibility criteria to join Oxford. And Cardinal, at that time he was not a cardinal, John Henry Newman was one of the founders. And he is responsible for putting all these conditions. For about 20 years, he was a priest. He was a priest belonging to the Protestant denomination. After 20 years, one fine morning, he wanted to become a Catholic. He knew that the rules of the university did not allow him to do that. He straight away goes to the rector. So in the hierarchy, the principal, rector, provincial, and then hierarchy goes, right? He goes to the rector who is his own classmate, tells him, my dear friend, I need to resign from this university because today morning I wanted to become a Catholic and the rules of the university will not permit. And his friend says, I'll be very sorry to lose you in university, but this is the rules of the game that you and I have stipulated. I accept your resignation with deep regret. He accepted the resignation, he was relieved. He goes to Ireland and every Wednesday he was giving discourses. In those days, we used to call it as a discourse. He was giving 9 to 10 discourses on every Wednesday in Ireland. And that summing up of these discourses is the book, The Idea of a University. I strongly recommend all of you to read this book. This talks about why an university exists. When I say university, autonomous colleges, affiliated colleges, what is the purpose of an academic institution? It articulates very, very strongly. He says the purpose of any academic institution is to cultivate the mind and illuminate the intellect of the students who are committed to our care. Look at the choice of words. He says the purpose of any academic institution is the cultivation of the mind and illumination of the intellect who are committed to make care. He goes on to explain what does he mean by this. For example, if you want to master the English language, basically you need to know the large vocabulary. In your repository, you must have huge vocabulary, probably 20,000 words, 25,000 words. You must have a large vocabulary. Even if you know 20,000 words in Webster's 2 volumes of the English dictionary, you may not be able to speak one sentence correctly in English. For that, you need to read Wren and Martin to know the grammar of the language. Right? Again, knowing words, how will you speak the language? Words signifying nothing. That's what Shakespeare said in one of his dramas. So if you know only the words, you will not be able to speak one sentence correctly in English. So you need to know the grammar. Then he goes on to argue if you have 20,000 words in your repository and you have mastered the Wren and Martin English grammar, will you be able to write one poetry like Keats or one drama like Shakespeare or one daffodils by Wordsworth? Will you be able to do that? That is where the cultivation of the mind and illumination of the intellect comes. Look at the level to which he is preaching. When you're teaching English to somebody, you're not focusing on the vocabulary, you're not focusing only on grammar, you're focusing on something very high. It is the cultivation of the mind and the illumination of the intellect which will actually motivate the student to go to the level of the poet Keats or poet Wordsworth who can compose. But if only you have in your inventory 20,000 words and Wren and Martin, if you attempt to write a comedy like Shakespeare, it will result in a tragedy. You will never be able to write one comedy or tragedy of Shakespeare. For the higher level is required, right? Coming closer to our own Indian example, the famous king philosopher and the president of this great country, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who is considered as an outstanding teacher, outstanding vice chancellor. He actually gave a quote when he became a vice chancellor. When I became a vice chancellor, I used to keep this quote on my table. He was trying to explain the purpose of the existence of an academic institution. He goes on to say an university is not an information shop. It is a place where the students' will, emotions, and intellect are disciplined. An university is a sanctuary of the intellectual life of a nation, and pursuit of knowledge is the very soul of an university. Continuing in the same breath, he says, majestic buildings and costly equipments can never be a substitute for a great inspiring teacher. So he is focusing on the human resources. He is not focusing on AI and ML. Today, AI and ML has become a tool, artificial intelligence and machine learning. As teachers, we should focus on real intelligence in human learning. AI cannot learn. It appears to learn. It appears to think. AI cannot think. Only humans can think. That's a powerful tool, which I strongly recommend for every teacher to use the tool, but it cannot replace a teacher. And that's why Radhakrishnan, in a beautiful passage about the role and responsibility of a teacher, he says, majestic buildings and costly equipments can never be a substitute for a great inspiring teacher. So at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is, if you want to improve the quality of any academic institution, the quality of a teacher has to go up. I must be able to inspire, I must be able to give direction to all my students so that they will become fantastic, fine human beings. All other things, becoming a great mathematician, great physicist, they are secondary. They must become fine human beings. That's very, very important. So, how are you going to achieve the greatness of an academic institution or excellent? Excellent is a word which is very, very nebulous. Today, we are all using it without really understanding what do you mean by excellence. Even quality doesn't mean the exact communication of what is conveyed in quality is not clear to many people. The concept of quality for you and the concept of quality will not be the same. Even for NAC, it's not the same. That's why there are different gradations. C grade, B grade, B plus, B double plus, A plus, A double plus. Right? There are several grades of quality. Even for hotel, there are 3-star hotel, 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel. In Bangalore, we have even 7-star hotel, right? There are so many levels of quality. That's why we have several stars in the hotel, right? So we need to define what is the quality that we are looking for. What do you understand by excellent? That's what I'm trying to civilize. Before we talk about how do we improve the quality, how do we improve the excellence, we need to understand these concepts. That's what I'm trying to do. Academic excellence, what are the indicators of academic excellence? How are you going to measure them? It's very difficult to measure quality and excellence. It is as difficult as measuring integrity, honesty, simplicity. One can feel, how do you measure the honesty of an individual? Will you say, I am 80% honest, once in a way I will tell lies? Will you say that? Harishchandra refuses to allow one falsehood to slip through the lips, 100% honest. So you are either 100% honest or 0% honest. You don't say, I am once in a way tell lies, 20% I tell lies, 80% I am honest. Meaningless. The simplicity, integrity, honesty. Once in a way I will take bribes. Then you will go to jail, like what happened to recently with the NAC assessors and the institution also, they are all in jail. Vice Chancellor and even ITC government, they are in the government Mamana Road of Tamil Law. The son-in-law of the government, they are all in jail. So, how do you measure these quality and excellence through numbers? It's a great challenge. It's a challenge for every institution, accreditation institution, including NBA and NAC. Creating quality culture and excellence. More than looking at these metrics, more than looking at the qualitative parameters, how do you create the quality culture? Several institutions across the country, when you say improve the research, they will only say 2 papers per faculty per year. Somebody has fixed this thing. You see, you are forcing it on everybody. Whether they have a flair for doing research, nobody bothers, right? So you suddenly jump to measurements, right? How do you create the research culture? Even some institutions which I gave the university status 20 years before, when I go there for accreditation now, I don't see much research happening there even after 20 years after becoming a university. The mistake that they are making is they are only asking the faculty to publish A category journal, ABDC journal, impact factor, citation index, all that you are jumping. Nobody bothered about how do you create that research culture. So I have traveled across the globe. In India, there are institutions which relay that research culture. I am a product of Tata Institute of University, TFR, getting a PhD there. The moment you enter the campus, even if you put a blade of grass, it will stand and dance. That is the atmosphere. Principal professors will be working. Harvard professors will be there. The David Mumford, who is a field medalist, is like a Nobel Prize. He will be rubbing shoulders with some people. Right? You can't be dormant. You can't be lethargic. You need to be vibrant with that kind of an atmosphere. So the question is, how do you create the research culture? It's a big topic. Some other time I will discuss how to create that. Same way, how to create that quality culture? It should be imbibed. Like I always used to say, if you want to run the 100 meters dash in the Olympic Games and win a gold medal, what are the steps you need to take? One simple step is get up every day in the morning, run exactly 100 meters, and do this for 2 years. Do you think you will be able to find a place in the finals of 100 meters dash in the Olympic Games? You will be filtered even at the local level if you do only this. What kind of effort you have to take if you want to run the 100 meter dash in the Olympic Games? Like Usain Bolt, you want to run. Fastest human being, right? So how are you going to reach that level? Not running 100 meters every day. So even when you are working for your accreditation, don't look at the manual, how many QLMs are there, how many QLMs are there, where are we, look at the benchmark, improve. This is a prosaic way of improving your quality. Forget about that. You must be able to run miles every day. If you want to participate in the Olympic Games 100 meters down in the finals, you need to run miles every day. You need to take nutritious food. You must keep a tab on your fitness. You go to the gym and then work on it. You have to do multiple things to get a place in the Olympic final in the race, right? Just running 100 meters will not be enough. The mistake most of the institutions do, you look at the manual, look at QNM, how many QNMs are there, where are we, improve that. That's a very prosaic way of improving the quality or improving excellence. You have your own standards, you have your own benchmark. So I've been in UGC when I prescribed the syllabus. I was the curriculum development committee for management program in the entire country. I had to fix the syllabus for 1,200 universities for 70. I traveled all over the country. I was looking at what possible courses can be offered. When I ultimately decided to fix that curriculum, I came with 120 new courses. I was discussing with Hari Gautam also, he was the easy chairman. Then, when I was looking at implementation, India is a huge country with the diverse standards. You have outstanding universities, you have also good, bad, and ugly is there. So, when I offer a new curriculum, probably you can offer a course on AI and ML, you can offer a course on big data analytics. We have 1,200 teachers who can teach these courses. There are some universities who are in remote places, like Gandhigram University, Central University is in a remote place in Dindigal. Very difficult to get faculty from industry, right? There are problems, right? So when I fix the curriculum, it is not the best curriculum, it is minimal curriculum. Even when we look at the standards, whether it is UGC standard, AICTE, or the NBA or NAC, don't think we are suggesting the best standards. The benchmark that the accreditation agencies give, they are not the best standard, they are minimal standards. Even if you are made a chairman of the committee, you cannot come and recommend the best curriculum or best standards. Because India is a huge country with a diversity. You can create a syllabus who will be teaching these courses. You need to keep that in mind. Therefore, whatever standard you see in all these accreditation bodies, in all these rankings, they are not the best. As an autonomous institution, well known in this area, you decide your own parameters. You don't imitate what they are suggesting. That is minimum standard. You must go far beyond these standards. You decide what is excellence. You decide what is quality. So forget about the regulatory bodies, forget about ranking agencies, forget about all the dimensions. You have your human resources, financial resources, physical resources, infrastructure. With all this, we have done this. Ask the question whether I could have done better. There is a book in management, Good to Great, Jim Collins. All of you must read that book. Most of the institutions, even corporate, they are good. Only few are great. And that's why the title of the book is Good to Great. Many institutions are good, only few are great. So, from your own performance, Jyoti Nivas College is a good college, not a great college. We're not able to even aspire here to the high school. And there are several autonomous colleges who have done that. So, the outcome is, interpretation is, I'm a good college, still not a great college. Wrong way to go. How do you go to those levels? But if you ask me the question, you have all the potential to be one of the best colleges. I was mentoring Rajavi Vidyapeeth. The fourth cycle, they got A-level plus 3.83, highest in the entire country. Parent institution of Christ University, number same in college. So there are other institutions across the country who were able to reach higher levels of performance. They have the capability. And there's a beautiful quote by Jim Collins in that book. The enemy of being great is that you are good. You don't aspire to become great because you are already happy with being good. Enemy of being great is that you are good, right? You will have to shackle the linkage with a good institution, trying to become a great institution, right? That is the preamble that I want to give to the ANC. Assessment and accreditation. You need to basically understand the difference between what is assessment, what is accreditation. What is the expansion for NAC, NAAC, national? What is the expansion for NAC, NAAC? At least IPSC must be able to give an answer. What is the expansion for NAC? National? Which comes first? Can someone do a Google search, find out whether national assessment is accreditation or accreditation assessment? Look. Come with an answer. Correct. What is the expansion for that? Do a Google search. National assessment and accreditation. Which comes first? Assessment comes first. Even the title that you have given is accreditation and assessment, which to my mind is not the correct sequence. Whoever has done this. Understand which comes first. Assessment comes first. Accreditation comes much later. We are all teachers. In the classroom also, we do assessment and evaluation. These two terms every teacher must be knowing. Can you tell me the difference between assessment and evaluation? What is the difference between the two? Do we assess the students? We evaluate the student. When do you assess the student? When you evaluate the student? Now, I am talking about the basic vocabulary, fundamentals. When you're shaky there, no point in talking about the superstructure. You should know what we are talking about. It's a problem across the country. It's a confusion. People don't understand the difference between assessment and accreditation, don't understand the difference between assessment in a classroom, assessing the student and evaluating the student. We use both the terms, right? Are they synonymous? If they are synonymous, why do you use two different terms? You are almost done. on dot. Good, give a bit. Good, which we are getting into the answer. Assessment is almost through the semester. So let me ask a basic question. Covered no? So whenever two human beings interact, constantly you are assessing the other person. When I'm in the class, all of you are assessing me, assessing my performance. I am also assessing your performance. Your response I am assessing. How many times you give a broad smile? How do you see a glow on your eyes? Do you see a smile when I crack a joke? I'm observing all that. I'm assessing whether I'm having a good audience or an average audience. All that as a speaker you assess. Even in the class you are doing that constantly. Whether the students are attentive, somebody will be looking at the watch, somebody will be yawning. It means they are not interested. You are assessing them. That's what we said. Continuously, day by day, hour by hour, session by session, semester by semester, we are assessing the students. Students also in return assessing us. Don't think they are sitting idle. At the end of every class, if you ask a student, today my teacher did a fantastic job. I know when I was in St. Joseph's, particularly 60 years ago, 69, 1st June, I joined as a teacher. Now imagine I have done 55 years of teaching experience. Actually, I wrote to ma'am saying, just to say that, don't tell me I've been a vice chancellor, I've been a director, all these I don't care. But I've been a teacher for 55 years, gives me more satisfaction. I always used to say I was never born as a vice chancellor, I will never die as a vice chancellor. I was born as a teacher, I will die as a teacher. Like my senior Abdul Kalam, he also wanted to be a great teacher. When he was talking to the students in IM Shriram, he dropped down dead. What a glory is that. Right? When he was doing the activity which is close to his heart, he died. Right? So being a teacher is so precious for me, right? In those days, I used to teach PUC, I used to teach BSc, MSc, all classes we teach. When you go to a PUC and then give a nice talk on trigonometry, next day people will come with an apple, orange. So we give a fantastic talk on trigonometry yesterday. And today they may come with a brick bat. What kind of talk is here? In those days, they used to give me a proof next day, appreciate it. Right? Also, when you go to the BSc math class and then say good morning, with a full throated voice, all the 100 students will say good morning, sir. My MSc math, there are only 20 students. You go to the class and then say good morning, they'll take down. As if I am teaching functional analysis or topology, what I am teaching, good morning, they will take down. Right? So, over a period of time, the response to what I am speaking, gets reduced. The undergraduate level, postgraduate level, the PhD level, I could see the difference, right? They are evaluating me, they are assessing me all the time. When does the student evaluate me? When there is a faculty evaluation by the student. On a Likert scale, there are 25 questions. He is putting a score on a 1 to 5. He gives 4, he gives 2, he gives 1. That is where he is evaluating me. When you conduct a test, when you conduct a midterm examination, when you conduct a quiz, you give a score to the student. That is evaluation. You give a numerical value to the student's attainment as a consequence of your assessment. That is evaluation. So, what NAC is doing, NAC is assessing it constantly. You may ask why. Every year, IPSC will know you are submitting an AQR, annual quality assurance reports, right? AQR you are submitting to NAC. That is closely monitored by your team in NAC. Over the last 5 years, how you have been progressing in terms of program, in terms of courses, in terms of faculty, in terms of students, in terms of achievements, in terms of placement, in terms of higher progression, in terms of publication, PhD production. We can keep a tab on your performance. That is assessment. When I come and give you a grade, you have got A++. 3.59. We got A plus 3.41. That is accreditation. You understand the between assessment and accreditation? Which comes first? Assessment comes first. Even in the classroom situation, we constantly assess the students. Students also constantly assess the faculty. But we also evaluate them more frequently, and the student have a chance to evaluate us at the end of the semester or 2 times in the semester. The feedback mechanism, whether it is done after 3 weeks. At the end of the semester, you don't take one feedback, you need to minimum 2 feedbacks. At the end of 3 weeks, you need to take feedback. You can apply a mid-course correction and then see whether there is an improvement at the end of the semester, right? So you understand the difference between assessment and accreditation, right? The benefits of assessment and accreditation. Assessment and accreditation best practices. What are the best practices in this? Developing academic leaders. This is very, very important. One of the things that Cardinal Newman says in idea of university, in any academic institution, there are 3 activities which are very, very important. Number one, teaching activity. Particularly if you are an undergraduate program running, you focus on teaching. High quality teaching is very, very important at the undergraduate level. Conceptual clarity must be there to the students, right? For PG and research, you can focus on MPhil, PhD or those research. Teaching is one activity, research is another activity. One person may not be good in both. I know there are some top-notch researchers who are absolutely bad teachers. All the interest you have in the subject, they will remove in one lecture. They remove the interest in the lecture. But top-notch researcher. I also know top-notch teachers who have not done enormous research. When I was a student, syllabus almost 70 years before, 62, 68. All the teachers were non-PhDs. They are all born teachers. They will create a love for the subject. They love you. They create a love for the subject. No harm in being a master teacher, right? And that's why in large universities, what you do is, for example, BET 7, there are 4,500 teachers. I used to identify who are the top-notch teachers. I try to make them masterful teachers. Now, the problem in college or university teaching is, after finishing your PhD, you straight come to the class to teach. Teaching is a performing art. Like the way you dance, like the way you sing, like the way you act, it's a performing art. You are never trained to become a teacher. After finishing my PhD, after being a professor in the university, I did a B.Ed and M.Ed. Just to find out what is being taught there. I went to a school and then taught as a part of my B.Ed and M.Ed. I went to a school and then taught. So we use the term pedagogy. The B.Ed and M.Ed courses actually train you to become a successful school teacher. That's why we use the term pedagogy. Pedos in the Greek language means a child. The method of teaching children is pedagogy. The method of treating children in medicine is pediatrician. He is the doctor who treats young children, pediatrician. So you and I are not teaching children. We are teaching adults. We are teaching adults in the college, adults in the university. The method of teaching adults is known as andragogy. ANDRAGOGY. I don't know how many of you have heard this term. Method of teaching adults is totally different from method of teaching children. This is known as andragogy. This was developed by a British educationist, Malcolm Knowles, MALCOLM, KNOWLESS. He is the founder and author of developing a method of teaching adults, andragogy. Do a Google search. There are 5 assumptions based on which you develop the procedure of effectively teaching adults. So when I became a vice chancellor in the Kansai University, first thing I did was I created a Department of Education Technology. I designed a 1-year course, MPhil in Education Technology. I trained all the 850 faculty in the university. We have medical college, engineering college, basic studies, education. I trained all these 850 teachers after designing a curriculum for 1 year. Every Saturday, one Sunday. It was monitored by me at the Vice Chancellor. After 1 year, I could see the quality of teaching went up in engineering, quality of teaching went up in management, Ayurvedic college. Lots of good quality students started joining the university. First, you will have to make sure that the teaching is of world class, right? Then automatically good quality students will join the program, right? That's where you should start. So, developing academic leadership. One is to produce high quality teachers. Second, producing top quality researchers. The same team may not be doing the research. Research professors we need to identify. Actually, those professors will think going to the class and teaching is waste of time. This time they should have spent on research. Masterful teachers will think any time spent on research is a waste of time. I should be focusing more on developing my student. This is my task. There is a third activity in an academic institution. Most of us don't realize that it is academic administration. Academic administration is a third skill which is needed in an academic institution. To play the role of a head of the department, dean, director, principal, vice principal, co-vice chancellor, and vice chancellor. These are all academic administration. I sit on the sanction of vice chancellors of many universities as the chairman of SCSC. We call it as statutory selection committee. I used to be the chairman. I look for best vice chancellors across the country. I see lots of teachers, good teachers, I see lots of researchers, but very few academic administrators who are extremely good in academic administration. Simply because they are good teachers and good researchers, we appoint them as vice chancellors, co-vice chancellors. They create a havoc in the system. So they are not very comfortable in doing academic administration. That's a third skill. Beautifully explained by Cardinal John Henry Newman 250 years before. I mean, his thought process is very clear. How the academic institutions function, how do you develop the quality, how do you develop the excellence. He speaks from his heart. Based on his experience in establishing the Oxford University, which is one of the top universities even today, he speaks with the words of conviction. He has the courage of conviction. This is how it should be done. Therefore, you need to develop academic leaders also. Unless you develop academic leaders, you must be able to develop academic leaders not only for Jyoti Nivas, also for the censor issue. You must be able to supply. I know when I was a student in Madurai University, the Department of Botany was producing vice chancellors across the country. 7, 8 people from Botany Department of Madurai University become vice chancellors. Right? That kind of training was given to the faculty in the department. How to be world class? This has become fashion. We want to be world class. How do you become world class? By saying that you want to be world class, you will not become world class. Favorable governance. To become world class, you need to have three important ingredients. One of the important ingredients is you must create a special area where the atmosphere is so charged, you will be able to bring out the best in everyone. As I said, quality culture, research culture, the favorable ambience bring out the best in the student, bring out the best in the faculty, bring out the best in the non-teaching staff. That kind of atmosphere you create. How do you create? I'll talk about it with the end of my session. Now we go on. What is academic excellence? Academic excellence in the context of an autonomous college refers to the pursuit of outstanding teaching learning, research and community engagement. Below are the parameters for measurement. Student learning outcomes. The first thing, the purpose of an academic institution is to make sure students who are coming to work they learn. Right? So that's why OBA has become very popular because whatever academic audit we are doing all these years, we are measuring inputs. It's a thing that because you teach it for 45 hours, the auditor will ask whether you have got 45 hours. 3 tests we have been given, 2 assignments have been given, 3 quizzes we have given, 1 midterm we have given, 1 project we have given, 1 project Viva done. So audit is over. No, what is it that you are measuring? You are measuring all inputs. What is the output? How much of the material you taught to the student were actually learned by them? You have taught that course for 45 hours. What percentage of students have acquired 50% of what you have taught? 30% of the students have acquired 50% of the knowledge, or 60% of the students have acquired 70% of what you have taught. Are you going to measure that? The purpose of teaching is students learn. That has to be measured. If there is no learning, the teacher is only teaching. I used to say, teaching without learning is mere talking. Teaching without learning is mere talking. You are only talking for 45 hours in a semester. None of the students have learned. What is the purpose of teaching? So if you want to measure the effectiveness of teaching, you need to measure the effectiveness of learning. That is the outcome of what you are trying to do. That is the essence of outcome-based teaching. Right? So assessing the student knowledge, skill, attitude, and human value. There are four things that you are supposed to inculcate to the student. You need to impart the knowledge. You need to give them the skills also. If they are in engineering, if they are in commerce, they should know how to prepare a balance sheet. If you are an engineer, you must know how to do the welding, how to operate on the lathe. If you are a doctor, you must know how to put the incision, how to put the stitches. They are all skills of the hand, of the fingers, right? So you must be able to impart the skills also. And you must be able to create the right kind of attitude and human values. All these things must be done. I have replaced the last to do with the word competency. This I picked up when I was mentioning Indian Maritime University. We're all talking about OBE, outcome based education. Have you heard about CBE, competency based education? Have you heard about it? One step ahead of OBE is CBE, Indian Maritime University, which is a central university under the Ministry of Shipping. They focus on CBE. The competencies are decided by International Maritime Organization, that is an IMO. They design the competencies. What do you understand by the term competency before we go to what is CBE? What do you understand by competency? It is an amalgamation of knowledge, skill, attitude, and also on the behavior. Kindness in whatever you are doing, right? You must have traveled in an aircraft, right? There are two people in the cockpit. It's a pilot and the co-pilot. All of them know the knowledge, how to fly an airplane. There are standard theoretical inputs they know. They also picked up the skills by working on a simulator in Hyderabad. The pilot training simulator is in Hyderabad. All of them undergo training, working on a simulator, they pick up the skills. Then they start flying the aircrafts. And you must have the right kind of attitude to work. You must love the work that you are doing. Otherwise, you cannot be a good pilot, right? You must have a proper attitude. If you are a person with a negative attitude, you will never be a successful, efficient pilot, right? Then beyond that, your behavior and fineness in your work. Sometimes, when the flight is landing, it will be very smooth. You never feel that you have landed. Very nicely done by the pilot. Sometimes, with a touch, the pilot will drop the plane from a height. You can feel it, right? There is fineness in your work. That all that amalgamated is competency. Even while learning the cooking, there are cookbooks, recipes are available. By looking into it, if you start cooking, you know what will be the taste of the food that you are preparing, right? Your mother or mother-in-law, the grandmother, when they cook, they don't have a physical balance to measure salt or spice, right? We take it in the hand, they do it. At the end of the day, it is absolutely delicious. That is the competency of your mother-in-law, or grandmother. It is going beyond the knowledge, beyond skills, beyond even attitude, with the behavior. With love, they serve the people in the family based on attitude, right? That is competency. Now, how are you going to identify the competency? In Maritime University, they identify the competencies of first level engineer, second level engineer, fifth level engineer, competencies of a captain, competencies of a Navy senior officer. So at all level, they decide the competence. Likewise, can you define the competencies of the teacher? Very various levels. That's what we are going to do in the binary accreditation. We are going to be dispensing the word RAF. We are going to introduce BAM. I'm part of the committee. We are almost finished our task. 30th April is the deadline. We have finalized the BAF, binary accreditation framework. It's not actually binary, it is basic accreditation framework. After that, you will be put under maturity level. There are 5 maturity levels we are discussing. Level 1 to 4 will be local. Level 5 will be global. What are the achievements of the university to reach level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4? If you are a computer science student, you know there are various levels in software development. If you are a leadership coach, you know capability maturity model level 5 level leadership. CMM 5 level leadership. If you are an OB, you will know. Right? They actually inducted few people from the industry, leadership coaches, to decide the various levels, right? So, first one is you get accredited, not accredited. And once you are accredited, at what level you will be, that also will be decided. Competency, at what level you are maintaining your competence. This has been done. So, even as a faculty, you will be able to define your competencies. At what level the lecturer is there, what level associate professor, at what level the professor is there, at what level the department is functioning. Slowly you will have to formalize all this, work on that. But the entire college will be based on the maturity models. The BAF will come into force anytime in May, so you need to work towards that. You need to think on those lines. The student learning outcomes and faculty quality. Evaluating faculty, one is qualification. Number one, research output and teaching effectiveness. All these are related to measure. How good somebody is a teacher, how good they are as researchers, how good their qualifications are. The research and innovation, measuring research publication, grants, patents, and innovation projects. Curriculum and pedagogy. You have all the freedom to design the curriculum. Are you offering the relevant curriculum, which is needed by the corporate, needed by the society? Are you doing that? That we will get a check. Evaluating curriculum relevance, innovation, and effectiveness. Student satisfaction. To what extent students are satisfied? I think you must have done this under 2.7.1. Student satisfaction survey. There are 50 questions, one open ended. To try to find out whether the students are overall satisfied with teaching learning. Assessing student satisfaction with academic program, with the faculty, with the infrastructure. You must have 3 sets of questions. One measuring the program, measuring the faculty performance, infrastructure. Resource management, all this can be effectively done if you are managing your resources properly. Budgeting and allocation of human resources, managing financial resources, infrastructure and technology, monitoring and control. These are the parameters based on which I will be able to define academic excellence. Indicators of academic excellence, innovative teaching methods, use of technology, project-based learning, and experiential learning. All these concepts you must have seen in the RAF. There are many concepts. One is experiential learning, reflective learning, collaborative learning, independent learning, then directed learning, right? So indirected learning. There are so many methods of learning, right? So all of so many methods of teaching, right? So here project-based learning, problem-solving method, depending upon the nature of the subject, you have to either focus on problem-solving methods or project-based methods, right? And it should be in tune with the learning outcomes. High-quality research publication in reputable journals, attending conferences, book chapters. Student achievements, if they have been monitored or mentored properly, they will be getting awards, recognition, and placement. But what company they are placed, at what level they are placed. Faculty recognition, what are the awards you are getting, what are the recognition? The leadership loads of faculty. What percentage of faculty are able to play the role of dean director, vice principal, and the pro-vice chancellor, vice chancellor? Industry partnership, collaboration with industry partners for research, internship, and placement. To what extent you are glued to industry? They are the people who use our knowledge and apply it in practical lab. We have constant interaction with industry. These are the indicators. Measurement tools for academic excellence. So how do you measure the performance of the institution? You look at accreditation. Accreditation can be national or international. Reports from accreditation agencies like NAC. NAC is institutional accreditation. MBA is program accreditation. AICSB, these are all for management schools. AICSB is an international American accreditation. EQUIS is an European accreditation. AMBA is British accreditation. ABEX is again for engineering, right? They are all international accreditation. So in management schools, we call AICSB, EQUIS, and AMBA as triple crown. The ultimate for quality and excellence for a management school is you must be having the triple crown. So NMHA mentoring, we are having triple crown. We got AICSB, we got AMBA, we got EQUIS also. Ranking national international, ranking is different from accreditation. If you are looking at NIRF ranking, there is only one government recognized ranking in India, that is NIRF, national ranking process. But media rankings are there, we will not go into that because most of them are unreliable. If you look at the international ranking, US ranking, THC ranking, Shanghai ranking, they are the acceptable rankings internationally. If you look at top 300 international ranking, none of the Indian universities are finding a place there. Some private institutions and Indian Institute of Science, they are working very hard to be in the international ranking. In student feedback, regular feedback from the students on academic programs and the faculty. Constantly review, take the feedback from the student, not only to meet the requirements of NAC, to get the feedback on your own performance. How well the program is performing, how well the teachers are performing, how well the infrastructure is profitably utilized. And faculty evaluation, evaluation of faculty teaching, research and service. See, you have the questionnaire prepared by UGC, one of the not well structured questionnaire. You can structure your own faculty performance analysis. Generally, broadly classify the faculty work into 4 areas. 1 into teaching, number 2, research, number 3, consultancy and FDP, MDPs, which the faculty is using to earn resources. The last one, institution building, image building for the institution, right? What is the role played by faculty in all these 4 areas? To give a weightage. In IIM, they give a weightage of 25 to 30% for teaching. I think for research, it carries 40% weightage. And resource mobilization through consultancy, that is about 20, and 10% for institution building, right? That is the way IIMs and IITs, they give a weightage for each of these components, take a weighted average that will ultimately decide the faculty score, the P score. Research metrics like citation count, H index, impact factor. This talks about the quality of the academic publication. How to create a quality, culture of quality and excellence in leadership commitment. I think this is very, very important. How do you create the quality culture? You look at your vision, mission. Clearly define and communicate the college vision and mission. Most of the time, the vision and mission are running through academics. When you go for inspection, when you interact with the principal or the vice chancellor, first question they will ask before we start the presentation. Sir, we close down the laptop. Tell me what is the mission of this university? The mission of this university. 99.9% they are blank. Because I'm not blaming them, they are running to paragraphs. Your vision and mission, according to Peter Drucker, must be on your T-shirt. Be very crisp. There are three components. We need to do a 2-day workshop. And so, how do you develop a vision and mission? Again, the question is which should come first. NAT is putting vision first, mission later. It is now a recognized and finally settled process. Vision should come first and mission should come later. We always say, Christians work with missionary zeal. All the fathers, when I was in St. Joseph's in early 60s, they are foreign fathers. Father he's from Germany. Father T is Belgian on their fonts. Father Toil from London. So they left their home place, came to India with the mission of offering high quality education to India. That is the mission. Very broad. And they went there, they're all coming from rich families. They sacrificed all their personal lives to provide quality education to Indians. Right? So that is mission. Large. Mission, you have to revisit the mission only every 5 years. To revisit the mission. What is the purpose of your existence? That is mission. What you want to be and what you want to do is mission. According to experts in management, vision should have three components. It should be aspirational, inspirational, measurable. And it should be linked to the vision. Right? There should be a stretch goal in your vision. There should be a niche. And there should be a time frame. Don't say I want to be the best in India. That's what many people say. Now, when after 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, when you will be the best? Without time frame, nothing is a mission. Right? If you look at some of the best examples of, I think Robert Kaplan is an authority on this. He has written a book also. He has given a small 4-page article on this. I will share it with IKC. You can go through that. Right? So, you should be very crisp. Most of the corporate, they have fantastic vision. You can remember. For example, the Xerox, what is the vision for Xerox? Be original in copying. They consider say very beautiful. I am in the business of copying. When you take a Xerox copy, it should look as clear as the original. Be original in copying, that is my mission. Likewise, I worked along with Padma Vibhushan Venkateswamy, with the founder of Arvind Eye Hospital. He debated for 3 weeks. Ultimately, the vision we said to eradicate needless blindness in India. How beautifully it conveys. You see, you may not know millions of people in India in the remote villages, they are blind at the age of 50 or 60. So they have simple cataract. It's a problem of old age. And Venkateswamy used to say, 10 minutes of work through my hands, I'll be able to make them see the entire world once again. But these villages were so scared of an injection, so scared of an operation. Whenever the ambulance of Arvind Hospital gets into the village, all the villagers, who are blind, will go inside the house, bolted from within. He said, I'm willing to do the surgery free of cost. Eye savers in UK, they are paying me millions of dollars. Money is not the problem. I'm willing to do the surgery free of cost. On your doorsteps, you are needlessly blind. When you are debating, that word came from Venkateswamy. He said, these people are needlessly blind. I want to eradicate the needless blindness in India. How beautifully the vision is conveyed. You don't have to remember, it comes up, right? So most of the academic institutions, including our university, they don't have the best mission statement. Don't feel bad. Some of the best universities across the globe, except Toronto, according to Robert Kaplan, they are not the shining example of good mission. I think if you want to generate, you need to reflect on your vision, critique it, come with an effective vision. Everyone will be able to remember any point in time. It cannot be running into paragraphs. First, you have to address that. Then you must have a quality policy. I'm sure IKC will have a quality policy. Yes, right? So most of the institutions have a quality policy, but they don't have a student charter. Have you heard of this word student charter? What's a student charter? Anyone in APSC? What's a student charter? They are doing all this for whose purpose? For the purpose of students learning, right? The entire process, are you involving the students? IPSC, you will have 2 student members in the committee. Beyond that, in how many ways you are involving the student in the entire quality journey? No, 2, 3 people sitting in the committee, I don't mind. It is statutory requirement. Along with the IPSC, how many students are involved in developing the quality in the institution? In gathering the data, you see, we are doing all this for their sake. They don't know we are sweating to make the learning better. Because they are not involved, they are sitting and cribbing. Large universities, thousands of students are involved in data collection, in analyzing the data, get them involved. Why do you take the entire responsibility of maintaining the quality only IPSC? IPSC may have 20 people, 23 people. Rest of them are going scot-free, right? Why? Involve all the faculty, involve all the students. In DIT, we have 65,000 students. I involve minimum 5,000 students in the quality finance and culture. Quality enrichment. We are doing all this for them, they should know. At least the clubs and committees, if you have a union member, you should all be involved. What are we doing to make their learning better? Then they will be actively getting involved in data collection, data analysis. What is the application process? What are we doing to improve all these criteria? Now we have 7 criteria. In the new methodology, we have 10 attributes. 10 attributes and metrics are there. Only QNM metrics. No QNM in the new thing, right? So let them know. So what we are saying the student charter is, dear fellow, you come here for making your life better, for making you learn better. These are all the things I am doing. These are all the things I expect from you. Student charter actually articulates a document outlining the responsibilities and expectation of students. This is what I expect from you within an educated institution. It serves as a framework for student conduct, academic integrity, and the overall student experience, ensuring a positive learning environment for all. You want to clap your hands, only one hand will not create a sound. Either this way or this way will not create a sound. This is the only way to create a sound. If you want to create the quality culture, both the faculty and the student must actively get involved. Don't say 2 students and 2 alumni, 2 corporate people are in the IKSC. I know what is the contribution. Most of the meeting they do not even attend. I know what is that. Involve them in a large way. Every criteria. Just like you have criteria champions and co-champions, you must have criteria representatives from the student. 50 students in criteria 1, another 100 students in attribute 2. Why not? Let them know every one of these processes, because all this is done for their benefit. They will stop cribbing. They will know the kind of efforts we are taking. Now they are silently ignorant of the efforts we are taking. Involve them, create a student charter, get them involved. Also tell them, this is what I expect from you. This is what I am doing. You can't go scot-free. You have a role to play. You tell them and create the document also. If you want, I will give you 1 or 2 models. For NM, I agree with. Most of the foreign universities they have. They clearly tell the student, this is what I expect from you. You can't go scot-free. Right? If you want to improve the quality culture in the entire organization, it's not only my effort, your efforts are also needed. Very badly. Then leadership, by example, demonstrate a commitment to quality and excellence. How do you create that quality culture? I always used to give two mantras to create the quality culture. Number one, be allergic to mediocrity. Anybody doing a mediocre job, be allergic. So even if the mic is creating a sound, it's mediocrity. I'm objecting to it. Not criticizing, I will not tolerate. Anybody, even the person who is mopping the floor, when I was a director, was appointed to be beach. So the lady was not mopping properly. The whole place was wet. When you're mopping, a good mopper, with the wet cloth you do, then squeeze the water and then take the wetness from the ground, the floor. We're not doing it. Every other faculty and the students were slipping down. I was the director, I was coming, I taught that lady so how to mop properly. I squeezed, no harm in it. When somebody is doing a mediocre job, tell them there's a better way of doing things. We're not criticizing them. I will not tolerate mediocrity at all levels. When it's done by a student, done by a faculty, done by a professor, it's a polite way of saying this is the way you're doing, it's a better way of doing. Number two mantra is be positively dissatisfied with the status quo. Don't think I am good, I got A plus 3.21. No, I should have got 3.88. That is the highest score in this country for a university. 3.83 is the highest for an autonomous college. Kerala, Rajagiri can do it. Why not Jyoti Nivas? I must always be positively dissatisfied with the status quo. Otherwise, how will you improve? Complacency will come. I'm doing a great job. You will not take any further effort to improve your business. So the two mantras for improving the quality and excellence: be allergic to mediocrity. Anybody doing a mediocre job, tell them that's a better way of doing things. Demonstrate to them. That's why I said, with the exam, you need to demonstrate this is what I want. And faculty development, training and development, I think your college is doing it already. Provide regular training and development opportunities for faculty. Research and innovation. Encourage the faculty research and innovation. Mentorship. Establish mentorship program for faculty. Faculty also is mentored. When I take up the task of mentoring a large university, I identify the faculty who can be groomed as masterful teachers. Another team who will become top-notch researchers. Other become effective academic administrators. So I first put them in three different baskets, develop training for each one of them. They need to be mentored. By merely saying you perform better, they will not perform. We need hand holding. We need to train faculty also. Student engagement, student feedback, regular solicit feedback from the student. Student participation, encourage student participation in all the quality initiatives. That's what I'm talking about. Involving the student, not keeping student in IPSC. In all the quality initiatives, there are 10 attributes. In all the 10 attributes, involve the student. Whosoever interested in involving in that attribute, involve them as many as possible. Student participation. The student support service, provide effective student support services, quality assurance, internal quality assurance cells, establish an IPSC to oversee quality initiative. Accreditation, pursue accreditation from recognized agencies. Continuous monitoring. In management, we say nothing can be monitored unless it is measured. You must have a mechanism measuring every matter. Measurement may not be perfect. You may have proxy variable, but try to measure. Only then you know whether we are improving. I'll ask a simple question to IKSC. They're all submitting AQR. AQR is 1 year simplified SSR. Do you understand? Whatever SSR format you have, 1 year SSR is AQR. Wherever I go to mentor large universities, I will sit with the IPSC, ask them this question. They are submitting the AQR for the last 5 years. There are, say, 55 metrics for the university QM. So put them in the Excel sheet. During the last 5 years, how you are performing in each metric? Are you stagnant? Are you going up? Are you coming down? Do an analysis. None of the IPSC across the country they have done this. That means what? That means they are submitting AQAR for the fulfillment of this requirement from NAC. That's all. You are not intrinsically interested in measuring your own performance. In many universities across the country, when I did this analysis based on their own data, most of the metrics they are stagnant. In many of the metrics they are sliding down. After the last cycle accreditation, most of the metrics you are sliding down. Very rarely in some metrics you are going up. Again, what is the role of IPS? Just to prepare ADR and submit to NAB. What analysis you are doing? Nothing. Therefore, when you say effective functional IPR, you must do constant analysis of whatever being measured. Whatever is the data collected, you need to do an analysis. Continuous monitoring, industry partnership, collaboration, establishing collaboration with industry partners, internship and projects, guest lectures, invite industry experts for guest lectures. This will create a quality culture and excellence. Move on. How to create a quality? Continuous improvement, data-driven decision making. That's what I said. Continuously measure your performance through APR, which you have created for your own. Use the data to inform decision making. Regular reviews, conduct regular reviews, policies, procedure, and program. Innovation and experimentation. What kind of innovation you have done in curriculum design, in pedagogy, in teaching, in evaluation? What are the major reforms we have done? I see St. Joseph's was the first autonomous college in the whole country almost 50 years before, 1977. Swiss colleges became autonomous, St. Joseph's one of them. So I was groomed in that first level autonomous college. I know the problems of autonomous college. Most of the autonomous colleges now, across the country, what they do, they tinker with the curriculum. There is a parent university, they give a syllabus, they have been following the syllabus, they will change the title of the paper. They will remove one unit from that curriculum, add one more unit, shift from the third semester to the fifth semester, fourth semester to the second semester. This I used to call it as a tinkering the curriculum. How many autonomous colleges? You are given full freedom. All along you are blaming the parent university that you are not changing the curriculum, we are archaic, not up to the mark. Now you are given 100% freedom. But Simon would call it as a burden of freedom. Freedom is a burden. How do you use the freedom optimally? And just you remember when we become autonomous, 3-4 workshops were done in 3 months as to how to use the freedom to design the curriculum. You must talk about the graduate attributes. I talked about it when I started MCA in 1977. All this vocabulary was not available at that time. Only 4-on-4 was available. How do you teach 4-on-4 for 3 years? I brought Mahabala from IIT Madras, in Raja Raman from Indian Institute of Science. 3 of us sat together. 77. Only 4-on-4. I need to design a curriculum for MCA for 3 years. So first we ask the question, what do you want these MCA fellows to do when they complete it? Will they be program writers, or will they be doing the coding, or will they be system managers? We debate it for 2 questions. What will they do after they complete? We said they will be system managers. Then we need to pitch the curriculum to meet that standard, right? So simple question I'm asking. You have BCom course, yes or no? BBA you have, MBA you have, MCom you have. Simple question I'm asking. You look at a BCom graduate from Jyoti Nivas. There is also a BCom graduate from NMIS from Bangalore. BCom graduate from Christ University. Can you tell me differentiating features of this BCom student coming from your college? 3 or 4 differentiating factors. In what way they are good, either in knowledge, or they are skilled, or their attitudes are different, or their competences are different. We call it as a graduate attribute. Across the country, in all engineering colleges, AICTE has listed 12 graduate attributes. All the colleges across the country copy the same 12 graduate attributes. 100% plagiarism. The graduate attribute of a college or a university will have to be decided based on the following factors. What is the quality of the students who are admitted in the program? What is the quality of the curriculum that you have designed? What is the quality of the electives you are offering and the unique selling proposition, right? Which are locally relevant. What is the standard of those courses? What is the quality of the teaching? What is the quality of the teachers? How do you evaluate them? How do they get placed? At what level they are get placed? What is the average salary? All that will decide the overall graduate attribute. Have you done this? In the last 5 years, what is the graduate attribute? This is the expectation from the designers of the curriculum. This is what I expect. I want a BCom graduate to join CA. In NM College, Bombay, they produce only CA. CA producing machines. When they complete BCom, they all of them would have done intermediate C or intermediate fasting. They are very clear. We are producing professionals. The entire NM College of Commerce, we are interested in producing professionals. We go to CA, costing, cutter services, CA, CMN, they will go only. So, their curriculum is structured towards that. You have that kind of clarity. What do you expect of a BCom student? What do you expect of a BBA student, BCA student, MCA student? First exercise, if you have not done that exercise, don't go to PO, PCO, PSO, meaningless. Unless you know what it is about. It is something similar to this origin is there. It's an iPhone 16 Pro Max. 17 Pro Max is going to come in 2027. All the features of iPhone 17 Pro Max is available now. The competitive brand is, what is the competitive brand for iPhone? Samsung. Samsung S24 AI phone. Model Max. They have different features. The features of Samsung you will not find in iPhone. Features of iPhone you will not see in Samsung. They are the uniqueness of this product. Like that, will you be able to list 4 or 5 unique features of your products? Whatever program you are offering, I'm not expecting dozen. 3 or 4 unique features of your product. I used to call it as a differentiating factors. What are the differentiating factors? It can be the curriculum, it can be the way you are mentoring, it can be the kind of skills you are developing, it can be competencies you are inculcating to the student various levels. You should be clear, we are manufacturing. So the features of the product comes first. You announce to the world, the student community, when you come for an MCA program, these are the graduate attributes of our products. Now you come to the boardroom. Now this is what they said in iPhone 14 Pro. Earlier phones were very heavy. They said iPhone 14 Plus will be light. Therefore, the material used was titanium. Right? They were using a material which is very light, titanium. Titanium material was used. So, what is the software I will use? What is the hardware I will use? Where it will be manufactured? I go to the drawing board. Similarly, just like a product is manufactured, this is the product you are going to manufacture from your college. The BCom, the BBA, BA literature, MA literature, MCA, MCom. This is the way they will look. They will look different from other products. If you come to the boardroom, what should be the program outcome? This is going to be the objective, what should be the program outcome? Then design the courses. Then the course outcome. Map the course outcome to the program outcome. Then start measuring attainment. Across the country, I find OBE is not fully understood, except few colleges in Kerala. OBE understanding is abysmally low. Marian College, Putikanam, is one of the best colleges in the entire country. They have published 2 volumes, not available for public. Using your contact, otherwise, I'm a mentor given, I can meet you. First volume they produced, what are the problems in implementation of OBE? You are only cribbing OBE is difficult to implement. Have you written a book on that? They have written a book on that. Second volume is how we successfully got over these difficulties, implemented OBE successfully. All the children, tribal children, as a team, You are not top of faculty, but the commitment and passion is very high. Published two volumes. Across the country, nobody. Marian College in Pudikalam, top of Hill, right? Therefore, what you are trying to do when you are doing the mapping, CO2 mapping, all of you are familiar with Bloom taxonomy. There are 6 levels. There's a revised Bloom taxonomy. We split it into 3 levels. Low level, remembering, understanding. Then, what is the second level? Last level is create and analyze. What is the second level? Anybody? Bloom taxonomy? You will have to, then OB is not implemented. So 3 levels, the 6 level, last to lower, middle to middle, last to is high level, create and analyze, right? So when you are doing the mapping, you are mapping the CO low level to a high level PO. You make a mistake here at the remembrance level, you are measuring the CO. It is mapped to create level. Therefore, when you do the measurement, all the values will be 3. Overall measurement will be 2.98 or 3, which is deceptive. You have made a mistake in the mapping. It's just like a high jump expert to put the rod at 1 feet. You don't have to jump, you can just walk. Right? And you say you're top notch high jump program, something similar to that. Your program objective is at a higher level, course attainment is a lower level, you happily map this to that. How many of us see whether this is mapped properly? Right? So it's a lot of homework has to be done. I'm measuring the mistakes that are being done. Don't say I'm pointing out an error here. Across the country, done in Bombay, done in Ahmedabad, done in Punjab, everywhere across the country. They have a poor understanding of OBE. They think they have done it, but they are not doing it properly. Right? Yeah. So to what extent you have designed the curriculum innovatively? Curriculum design and development is an expert job. Figuring the university curriculum is not it's the easiest way to do. There's not many colleges are doing. To what extent you are really innovative? That will be reflected while you are graduated. This is what my graduates become. We used to call the products of Joseph as Josephites. Dialogue and student. Likewise, we have common attributes of all the students coming out of Jyoti Nivas. What are the Jyotis? How do you call the alumni of Jyoti Nivas? J nice, no? Jyoti Nivas, JNC. Josephine comes out very naturally. Lavala also, Lavala, So what are can anyone tell me? What are the features of JNCs? He may be from commerce, he may be from management. What are the 3 or 4 unique features of JNCs? If you have not done that, do the exercise. I'm not talking about graduate attribute of a program. I'm not talking about program outcome. I'm looking at the special features of anybody coming out of it. Make sure before anybody graduates, for example, Josephite is supposed to be a person who respects punctuality, maintains integrity, works for the good and pro bono infero, that's the mission. What is the Latin? There's a Latin with pro bono infero. Anybody who knows Latin? Like we say in Sanskrit, in the olden days, 200 years old, pro bono infero is the doctor. For the good and the truth. Whatever we do will be truthful. Whatever we do will be good to the society. Whatever we do, whether we offer a program, diploma, degree, research, whatever we do will be for the good of the it is truthful. That sums up different things. So every Josephite will have these Another specific. Chief Financial Commissioner, leading minister, I did mention that, did physics of. You see any terms of mind? What? The assessment accreditation, I already described the difference. I one. Assessment is an ongoing process that evaluation improves of program effectiveness, efficiency, and quality. Was student learning outcome OBE, assessing the student's learning, knowledge, and skills. Program evaluation, evaluating program effectiveness, curriculum delivery. Institutional effectiveness, assessing institutional performance, resourcing services. In large universities, what we do, we are supposed to do academic administrative audit, AAA. It is one of the self-assessment tools, right? CDIO standards. Conceive, design, implement, and uh, organize. CDIO. Then cross-pairing. Cross-pairing is a very beautiful self-management, self-assessment. You identify another college, either in Bangalore or anywhere in India. Same number of years of existence, autonomy, same culture, right? Identify and then try to see how they are performing. How you are performing. Metric by metric, attribute by attribute. Find out where you are from, where they are from. Find out where you are weak, where they are weak. Actually, a cross pairing is a tool that every college will be improving their own performance by comparing with another college of equal status. Very powerful. Right? So if you can identify a college, in India, we all work as silos. We never compare ourselves with any other institution. We don't want to share any information. No, there is a real culture of working. We don't want to share any information of the problem. These are the four tools: accreditation, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. AAA, there's an internal AAA, external AAA. What we do in large universities, every department will be doing academic administrative audit on another department. Commerce department will do it on management. Management department will computer science. Computer science will do it on literature department. So this is what we do. At the end of every semester, we do an internal audit. We have a 95 to 100-page instrument. Cancellation of classes will be captured. Scrapping of 2 classes. There is one question on adherence to academic calendar. Now, one question on adherence to academic calendar. All of you show the academic calendar that we know. That's not what I want. Adherence to academic calendar. You planned something, you created a timetable for the student, timetable for the faculty. You implemented the timetable, did you implement it 100% or did you implement only 90%? Private more than me. There is a class, you cancel the class. There is a physics class and the ancillary maths, you swap to the class. Adherence is gone. Are you measuring this? In my internal AAA, I measure this. Whether the class was cancelled, the bigger permission of the academic. Service college, no faculty has the power to cancel. Only head of the department can cancel a class. So if there's a problem, you go to the head of the department, he or he must give permission to cancel. Half a day can be cancelled only by the vice principal. Full day can be cancelled only by the principal. Devolution of powers, very clear. Don't step up from the limits, very clear. Right? Therefore, this is adherence to standards. Institutional accreditation, program accreditation, that is doing institutional accreditation. The program accreditation is done by LPU. Then there are specialist accreditation. Even in the primary accreditation, we have different kinds of universities, arts and science universities, technical universities, medical universities, law university, government university, architecture and design university, management university, specialized passive university, yoga university, maritime university, aviation university, railway. There are differing measurements for accrediting all these. You know, you can, for example, among the medical universities, don't ask the faculty there how many of you have PhD. Medical doctors don't do PhD. They do MS, MCH, FRCS. None of the doctors do PhD. Couldn't ask this question, what is the H factor, impact factor for Sanskrit scholars? They are outstanding scholars, but you don't measure them with Web of Science index. They are not applicable to them. Therefore, you have to measure them with different metrics. So these are the broad classification of that. Among the universities, there are so many types of university. Engineering university, medical university, law university. Some questions are relevant, some questions are irrelevant. Benefits of assessment and accreditation. There are 4 levels of quality: quality assurance, first cycle; quality sustenance, second cycle; quality enhancement, third cycle; quality enrichment, fourth cycle. Quality assurance in the first cycle, we look at compliance and accountability. Or being an autonomous college, we're supposed to fulfill the norms of the parent university. They are fulfilling them, that's what he said. Sustenance, whatever quality you reach in the first cycle, are you sustaining it in the second cycle? Now, the third cycle, we are measuring quality enhancement. How do you define quality enhancement? Quality enhancement is defined as the deliberate steps taken by the institution to make sure there's a continuous improvement in the learning experience of the student. That means you must measure the learning experience of student. You must make sure there's a continuous improvement. You must be able to map the deliberate steps you have taken to the continuous improvement. All this will come to claim quality enhancement. Quality enrichment is the total quality management course sector. That means all the links in the value chain, starting from admission to curriculum design, pedagogy, evaluation, recruitment of faculty, promotion of faculty, promotion of research, then higher education, and then placement, having the article start to finish, we call it as a value chain. The strength of the chain lies in the weakest link. If one link is weak, the entire chain becomes weak. So, in the quality enrichment, the total quality management, all the chains, all the links in the chain, you have to be strong. It is crucial. Continuous improvement encourages ongoing evaluation, accountability, hold institution accountable for their performance. Student success. You train them well, they will be placed well. And credibility enhances institutional reputation and communities. How do you improve the brand image? In advertisement, you don't improve the brand image of an institution. Brand means credibility, visibility, and a promise. Visibility can be increased by advertisement. Credibility and promise. It's a soft aspect of whatever you promise you will do, you will be able to execute. Many students claim 100% placement. Average something 13 lakhs. All of them are IBC. You say deceit to see, they're all putting all the problems into the carpet. This is defeating the student. Have to do that. Also, regular self-assessment, stakeholder engagement, data-driven decision making, continuous quality improvement. Developing academic leaders. Leaders are not born but real. However, knowing roles and responsibilities does not make one a leader. Why should anyone be led by you? You are able to capture the hearts and minds. Inspiration. Leadership is an art, requires certain skill. Professionals with the following qualities can be coached, developed, and limited. And CEO coach, as a Malcolm Goldsmith certified program, we are launching that. We coach the CEOs of the companies. We don't take everybody for coaching. Whether the individual is coachable, we administer a measurement known as coachability index. Now, the three important components of coachability interaction. First, you must be courage. That means you must be willing to accept the negative feedback positively. Simply because I am saying that these are the areas of improvement, you are not withdrawn. Some faculty, touch me not. Whenever I make a mistake, they are withdrawn. No, you will be courageous enough. Yes, I'm not good on these areas. I want to get trained. Number two, you must have that humility. Unless you have the humility, you can't be able to learn anything extra. Third component that I mentioned is discipline. You must listen to what I say. Maybe the CEO of a company, according to Malcolm Goldsmith, even 5 to 8% of the CEOs of Fortune 500 company are efficient, better than the CEO. In academic, it is 3 to 4%. Even the nations, team developers, principals across the country, only 3 to 5% of them efficient, scientifically proven. So rest of them need guidance. They need to be mentored to perform better. Some leaders are successful in spite of certain negative traits. For example, poor listening, no delegation, destroying self-importance. Many are successful because of positive traits, political skills, technical knowledge, and research skill. Underlying philosophy of the coaching development process to make leaders effective, leveraging because of behavior, reducing in spite of behavior. Every person has certain behaviors that contribute to his or her success. Certain behaviors are a stumbling block. Person himself or herself cannot see your succeed. It is part of your dark self. Everybody will know the deficiencies in you. You will not know. You have to ask other people. Right? And coach and other stakeholders can see what the person cannot. Coaching process involves identifying leadership behavior bottlenecks based on a 360-degree evaluation, acting on behavioral bottlenecks based on feedback and feed-forward suggestion. Instead of feedback, we give feed-forward suggestion. When we mentor, we give feed-forward suggestion. These are the things that you need to do to overcome the deficiencies you have in your personality. Consistent follow-up, monitoring, and rectification by the coach leader to eliminate the bottlenecks. You know, how to be a world-class leader? It's a normal thing everybody is asking. Simple parameters I classify into three broad headings. You must be able to attract high concentration of talent. The kind of students you are attracting, the kind of they will be world class. Kind of faculty you have in the faculty list, they will be world class. For a college like yours, filling the seats is never an issue. For top colleges in this country, for 10,000 seats, you have 2.4 applications. So there is no problem in filling the seats. You must be able to say, this student got a seat in IIT Madras, he rejected and joined my university. Then he ever it. It is what I told BA. Somebody will get a seat in IIM, he will reject and then join me on the day. This is my norm. Eighth batch, Anish Prabhu, he got a seat in IIM, Lucknow. He rejected and joined me. I mentored him. He rose to very high levels. Anish Prabhu is now the first Asian to become a director in Standard and Poor in US recently. First Asian to become a director. Rejected IIM, getting regret, was grown to this level. I am happy, he is happy. Like that, I can give several instances where he rejected IIM offers, joined BIM, and then rose to IIM. In my mind, that is the asset. Now, the other things are assets. Student point of view, they see your program much more value adding than other. Then we must have abundant resources. Without abundant resources, you will not be able to give quality research. The last one is the highly favorable government. To create an atmosphere where you'll be able to bring out the best in everyone. It's a 9 minute for which IPSC has to be the best strong. On to the last slide. So, this Surendra Bhushan is an outstanding management thinker who was in London School of Economics also in NCR France. He's a Bengali. He says there are two types of atmospheres created in the corporate or even in academic institutions. For summer vacation, you will come to Kolkata during summer. Outside atmosphere will be 110 degrees. Very stuffy because it's a coast. Kolkata is a coastline which is sweating. Hot outside, you don't feel like coming out of the home. Whereas when he is in Vinciad, there's a fountain view forest. You feel like relaxing there. The moment you enter, you see the crispiness of the air, the flow of the rivulets, the chirping of the birds. They're so enthused. You feel like jumping, you feel like jogging. Now he is asking the question, some institutions, some corporate create the stuffy atmosphere of Sankara inside their institution. Whereas somebody create a rich atmosphere of NCO, mountain look forest in France. How do you move from this to that? He gives the reason. The stuffy atmosphere in the institution, we talk about constraints. There's so many constraints, therefore, I find it difficult. I have complaints. I have to complain with UGC norms, university norms, regulatory norms, ranking norms. Then I have control. Everybody tries to control the other person. There's a contract. I'm a teacher, you're paying my salary, I have to do something. If you're operating on these four C's, you'll be creating the stuffy Calcutta atmosphere. How do you change it to a vibrant, inside atmosphere? You must be able to stretch. Every individual who is supposed to work X must work X plus delta X. Go beyond the roles and responsibilities that you are given. You are not talking about compliance, you are talking about self-discipline. And discipline myself. I will be operating under an unsupervised environment. I don't require my head of department to supervise. I will be able to do my work to the best of my satisfaction. You don't control the other person, you support the other person. This is done. Again, it's not a contract, it's a trust. You must be able to trust your colleagues. To trust the student, trust the faculty, you will be able to create that favorable atmosphere. And given the link, it's only 9 minutes of Sumatra Ghosal's original talk. Listen to the talk, it will be very, very inspirational. How do you create that atmosphere inside an organization? So, as I said in the beginning, quality and excellence cannot be defined. Nevertheless, you have to create your own standards for quality, your own benchmark for excellence. Then once you do that, you must be able to work towards achieving that. And you must have your tools of measuring that. Right? Right? These are the three things you will do to create a positive atmosphere, to create that quality culture, to create that excellence environment, so that everybody will be able to contribute the best of the abilities. Thank you for the opportunity. Wish you all the best.
We'll now have a quick Q&A session. If there are any questions from the audience. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Such a privilege again today for me to be in your second session throughout my life. So I'm very privileged to be listening to such a resourceful session. My next question quickly is a personal question to sir. I took time to listen to all the qualification and the stand of sir right now. My straight question to sir is, how did you make yourself to become so? That's my first question.
Not clear. Can you be loud?
How did you make yourself to reach this height, this level of life? My second question, is how can a teacher identify or measure himself learning? How can a teacher know that he's learning? And my last question, if I can, is how do you identify mediocrity and how do you address it? How do you identify mediocrity? Mediocrity. Mediocrity, is it? I'm a French teacher, sir. Sorry.
You identify mediocrity.
Mediocrity. Okay.
Thank you, Hanok sir.
Thank you. All the three questions are very difficult. They're all eager to have their lunch. I will try to answer one by one, right? First, you must have, see, beyond the qualification, everyone must be able to ask the question, do I fit into the teaching profession? When I select a teacher, I don't go by the CV. I don't even go by the due diligence. On CV, you may have PhD, you must have publication. At the end of the day, are you becoming happy when the student learn? That is the only quality of a teacher. I may know very little, but I must be able to derive joy when my student learn. Very quickly answering the question, how do I know that I am going to be a good teacher? Number one, you must like the subject. Whatever subject you are teaching, it may be maths, physics, chemistry, literature, management, any subject, you must like the subject. You may say, sir, we are all liking the subject. I have MPhil, PhD and all that. And you're not liking the subject. You must be up to date with your subject. You must love the subject. I did my MBA 50 years before. I did my PhDs another 55 years before, 71, 74. Close to 60 years, I did my PhD. Now, am I improving my knowledge in mathematics, computer science, statistics, in management? You see, subjects like maths, physics, chemistry, they are all basic sciences. 3 plus 4 continue to be 7, whether it is in the last century, this century, next century. 2 units of hydrogen and 1 unit of oxygen will always give you water. Chemistry laws will not change. Laws of Newton will not change. Whereas the laws in management, the consumer behavior, computer science, the subject itself undergoes a very major change. When I was a MBA student, 50 years ago, my marketing teacher taught me how to market Fiat cars and ambassador cars. Only those cars were available in those days. Today, when you go out of your college, you will find all kinds of imported cars. You have Audi car, BMW, Mercedes Benz. You need to know how to market these products. I can't tell my student, my teacher only taught me how to market Fiat and Ambassador. Fiat don't exist. Where are the Ambassador cars? We have only ambassadors of countries in the, we are picking a quarrel with the Pakistan ambassador. Right? So we don't have the course. We don't have those course. I need to upgrade my knowledge. When I say you like your subject, you love your subject, you must be up to date with your subject. You can't be archaic, number one. Second qualification is you must like your student, you must love your student. You must like your student. That means you must all know the names of all your students. How many of you know the names of all your students? If you want to be a faculty in BIM, you cannot be a faculty unless you know the names of all the students on the campus. I remember the names of all my students of all these years. If we ask you, do you remember the names of your aunties and uncles, cousins? Will you say, I don't know? I'm 80 years old. I still remember my cousins and cousin sisters, you know. You don't say 80 years ago, they were my cousins, I forgot them. Do you say? No. Even though dementia and other forgetfulness can come, you don't forget your father, you don't forget. You cannot forget the students. How many of you know the student, their hobbies? This is the first exercise I do. You are asking, how did I become a great teacher? On the first class, I will give a slip. On the first class itself, I know 50% of the student names I know because we put the stamp photograph of the student. I interview them. Therefore, I know all the students before I see them in the first class. I give a slip of paper, I ask them to write their name. I will ask them, how do you want me to call you? His name may be Balakrishnan. His father or mother will call him as Balu. I will ask the boy, how do you want me to call you? He will say, sir, call me as Balu. An emotional connect is already created between me and my student. I will ask him, what are the hobbies you have? My hobbies in those days used to be photography, music, all that used to be my hobby. Out of 60 students, probably 20 of them have the same hobby interest. Automatically, I get emotionally connected to the student. And the third important factor, I am responsible for the student taking an interest in the subject. This is a highly debatable point. As teachers, are we responsible for the students' learning? They learn or not based on their interest. But my take is, I am responsible for the student taking an interest in the subject. I will narrate one incident that happened on my first class. I finished my PhDs in TFR. I came back to St. Joseph College. I am the head of the department. Only I am a PG professor and head of the department. I am supposed to take MSc, MPhil and research. Because I love teaching, I used to go to a PUC class. I will go to a BSc class and teach astronomy. Because I love teaching. Astronomy also my favorite subject. That's what I said straight. I am supposed to teach only MSc, MPhil and PhD. I was teaching PUC undergraduate. Because I am a researcher from TFR, I used to speak very fast. Because in my auditorium, Harvard professors, Princeton professors, MIT professors will be sitting. David Mumford will be sitting, he's a field medalist. I'm talking to him. If he writes the first step, he will get the 10th step. So I will have to go for the 15th step to make him guessing. Because I have an elite audience, I have to be very fast in my talk. Right? I did the same thing in my first class in POC in St. Joseph's College. I finished the entire syllabus in 20 minutes. 1 hour at the time, I finished trigonometry, addition formula, inverse trigonometry, everything, entire syllabus, I finished in 20 minutes. I could understand the agony of the students sitting in my class. So I wanted to spend the rest of the time. What do you do? I can't take attendance for one more time. I thought I will go for a simple quiz. I told my students, I will give a quiz for 5 questions. I will give 5 minutes to answer the quiz. There was restlessness in the entire class. Because I didn't tell them I'm going to give a evaluation. For 20 minutes, I am giving a quiz based on what I thought. So there was resistance in the class because they were young students, fresh from the school, they didn't accept. So I distributed the papers. In St. Joseph, we always use the empty papers. You want to do this, it's always available. Apart from chalk and duster, it's available. I distributed, wrote down 5 questions, and I said I need 5 minutes to answer. And they all said, sir, don't take it into internal assessment. I said, we will not worry about that, take the test. They answered all the 4 questions. 98% of students failed. 2% of the students have answered, not because I taught them well. They have already read it in +2. They know the answer before. Now they answered the question. When the 2% success, I cannot take. After receiving all the papers, I told them 98% of students have failed. This is not considered for your internal assessment. I gave this test to evaluate my performance as a teacher. I was a young teacher at 21 years, 27 years, head of the department, PG professor coming from TF. My teaching is 0. I told all my students, my teaching assessment from my own self is a big 0. I'm a failure in my role as a teacher. Don't believe. The entire class stood up and clapped their hands. The entire 100 students, first they were happy this is not taken for internal. Big relief, 98% will not get 0. Second happiness is teacher is accepting his inefficiency. He is saying that I am a failure in teaching. I will get improved. I said this. Still, I had another 30 minutes. I taught for the next 30 minutes very slowly. Very slowly, I took one unit, described that very clearly. I gave a second test. Before the bell went, I circulated another sheet of paper, gave another 5 questions. This time, 99% of the students passed, only 1% failed. The entire class passed. I asked the question, how did transformation took place in 1 hour? The moment I took the responsibility for their learning on my shoulders, they don't want the teacher to be a failure. When I said I have failed in my role as a teacher, they were not willing to accept. He's a top-notch researcher coming from TF. He's a PhD. How can he be a failure? Somebody is new to teaching. They give an allowance. The second part was very careful, I went very slow. I made sure they accepted. Because I accepted the responsibility on my own self, they really understood in the second part of my class. And on the next day, sir, the entire St. Joseph's College, over 170 teachers, Jayashankar's name was on the lips of everybody. They said, here is a teacher in our college who takes responsibility for my learning. Not that I have moved mountains. Here is a teacher who takes responsibility for my normal respected. Was one of the youngest teachers at that time. There were so many big teachers with 30 years of experience, 35 years of experience. I created a niche in the entire college. That is the secret of the success. I took the responsibility of making the student learn, taking an interest on my shoulders. You can do the same thing, all of you will become more better teachers than me. This is the trick of the brain.
Thank you, sir. Due to time constraints, we are stopping our Q&A session now. Before we conclude, let us take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to Professor Dr. N. Jayashankaran, former Vice Chancellor, Kanchi University, and advisor, IFIM and VIT University. Thank you, sir, for discussing the importance of assessment and accreditation, and most importantly, outcome-based education. Your clarity and depth have left a lasting impression on us. To our guiding force, Dr. Sister Mary Louisa S., for your unwavering support, visionary leadership, and gracious presence, thank you. Our special appreciation to Sister Nalini Cruz, Sister Sajita Jose, and Dr. Carol Stanley Zembler, for whose guidance continues to shape this program. A big thank you to the FDP Organizing Committee, Dr. Leena Nair, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Josephine Narmada, Ms. Anupama Bhatt, Mr. Mikhail Rajaram, and Dr. Rajesh Dharmaraj. Your meticulous planning and commitment have brought this vision to life. We also extend a warm thank you to the IQAC team, various committee coordinators, and the IT and tech team, Mr. Praveen, Mr. Basil, and Mr. Richard, for ensuring everything runs seamlessly behind the scenes, in spite of a few glitches. To our enthusiastic participants from across the country, thank you for your active engagement and presence. You are the heart of this program. And last but not the least, a heartfelt note of appreciation to every individual working silently in the background. Your contributions are deeply valued. Thank you. The feedback link is now available in the chat box and will remain open for the next 2 hours. We kindly request you to take a few moments to share your reflections to help us grow and serve you better. Thank you all once again for joining us today. Here's wishing you an enriching, inspiring, and an impactful day ahead. Thank you.